Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video of Tokyo Ghoul Reinvoke. And what we're here to do is I wanted to go ahead and cover the new festival banner. There are 2 new units inside it, and they actually are fairly good units. Typically, I do intend to skip this banner, but I feel as if they're so substantial that I really want to make a video on them covering why they're so important. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. There probably won't be too much gameplay inside this episode, so if you are looking for that, I do suggest kind of taking a step back for now, and we're going to go ahead and get into this. Now, first and foremost, we have Enma Koma. Enma Koma? We'll just call him Koma-san. He's a Yokai Watch character. With a flat, roughly about 9,200 HP, 950 attack, 470 defense. Fairly standard for things. He has a slightly higher defense than most light units. That's at least something helpful. Light units are kind of stacked against themselves right now. There's so many overwhelming dark types and units that have killers against light. Black Reaper, Takizawa, Arima, Hafukucha Kaneki, everyone that's been released as a festival unit post-renewal. It's pretty ridiculous. So it's good to have him have that extra survivability there. He also has a 200 attack buff, which goes from 750 to 950. The 20% less damage from dark types, which is helpful. 1.4 times killer, 2 dark types, which is also helpful. It stacks on top of the already critical damage he does to them. And a 30% guard buff. And so with a flat rate of 30% guard constantly on him at 1010, he does kind of have more survivability than any of the other light units we currently have. So he is really substantial there already. At level 2, which is 20%, he has a flat 30% guard rate increase to himself alone, which isn't as helpful as Mutsuki's buff is. However, the 30% being on himself means he constantly has a 60% chance of not taking damage from enemies, which is very nice. Block rate does stack if it goes 1 skill and 1 unique, so it's fun to use. He also has a -5 weapon durability on that, which is pleasant. But the thing that truly matters about him and Kaya Irimi is the 60% and 80% increases to his skill. At 60%, 3 dupes, he gets, instead of just the 30% guard buff, he also gives himself +2 AP, as well as his other teammates on the field with him. And so whenever you pop his skill, depending on how many times you can get off per turn, you can stack up even more AP on all of your units. Super exciting, especially when you look at the 80% skill and see that goes from +2 AP, which was what the Re-War Toka had before, to +4 AP. Being able to give a flat 4 AP to your entire Vanguard is super nice. It just gives you the ability to deal the amount of damage that you need to, and it also allows you to kind of reset your skill charges and go right back in for a kill. I honestly do believe that being able to stack a +4 AP on your squad is very pleasant. And additionally, they do have a very similar thing for Kaya as well. First and foremost, I actually want to cover her main kit because it is a little bit better in terms of DPS. So she has less HP in her 7,300, and her defense is also less by 70 in her 400, but she makes up for it with 1,160 attack, which is super nice, and 14 AP versus the 8 that Koma constantly has. So she's more offensive, and she's more of a... Honestly, to me, what it seems like is you want Koma and Kaya in the same row alongside each other to be able to swap between them and get the DPS you need to, and have Koma in on the end of your turn because he has more defenses and more solidarity to him. But we do have here, her skills are very nice. 300 attack, which is just generally helpful. +2 AP, which is fairly rare for earlier stages inside an upgrade tree, but still very pleasant. 1.4 times killer to light types, which is just beautiful. And the 30% guard or dodge rate, which less common, I find, to have dodge inside the game. So it's nice to be able to have someone who kind of synergizes with it. It means that Rijuzo kind of has more of a place because there is kind of a dodge meta going there. But she has 30% flat dodge rate, and her skill is the same as Koma's in it's a 30% dodge rate increase and 6 durability damage. In general, that means that she'll have a flat 60% dodge at all times, and you can give the guard to them. And so if you have a Mutsuki, you could actually stack the guard on top of this Kaya and make her even better. And of course, when you do upgrade her 60% and 80%, she gets the +2 AP and +4 AP respectively. Am I gonna sneeze? Apparently I did. Okay. But yeah, so she kind of has the same unique as well as Koma does, which is super nice. Both Kaya and Koma, their final unique skill is a 1.8 times killer to any humans. And so with a team of them two together and being able to pump out that constant AP buff, I think they're going to be an overwhelming force in this next war, especially because they're going to be boosted. So I'm really excited to see what they have to offer at 100%. Granted, I will not personally be pulling on this banner, despite them being fantastic, because I just don't have the income or Haka to do so. It's one of those things where I feel very tempted to reroll to be able to see what they have to offer, but it's not in my personal principle. So I'll have to try and decide on that for right now, but either way, it is super exciting. 60% is definitely the place you want to get them to, 80% being even better, but both of them are going to be overwhelmingly fantastic forces during the next war, and I want to see where they go. Now, note to anyone who plans to pull on this banner, Takizawa is not available in it. He is not one of the fillers, and so you cannot get him during the 7 steps. So if you are pulling on this banner, you will not be able to get dupes or even one copy of him. It is something to keep in mind because there's so many fillers inside the banner. It's hard to tell when the one that you want the most isn't inside it. So it's really up to you in terms of pulling. That temptation is definitely sitting inside my heart, and truthfully, I do have some more story here to complete. You know what? Let's just do that right now. I'm down for it. You know what? That's the squad I want to use. Sure. It's one of those things where I want to try to save until the later parts of this year, because December is going to be such a substantial part of what's coming up. But of course, saving is always difficult for me because that gacha itch never stops. You got any more of those SSRs? Because I'm feeling it. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Additionally, this Ritoka actually has a similar skill to the Koma, and we actually will show it off here if we can, because she is fantastic, and I'm wondering if you could stack her AP buff along with the Koma and Irime, because if you could, per turn, you could probably get a 10 flat buff of the entire squad's AP, which is stellar. I wonder if you could actually get like an infinite going with certain amounts of characters. But yeah, she gives the +2 AP to her entire front row. And so like Ghoul Heisei goes up to 12 hits in total. I can only imagine like, okay, so you have Takizawa in your front row at max. He has 19 AP, just straight up. Then you have your middle row being Kaya and Koma. Both of them pop their skills, and it turns Takizawa into a 27 AP monster. Go even further. Your other row also had Ritoka inside it, so now you give him a +2. He now has 29 AP to work with on his turn, and his DPS is already incredibly insane. I can only imagine just how horrifying it could be. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the ability to wail out like some people are able to. But God, it is just overwhelming to imagine exactly what they have to offer here. So I definitely think we're getting into that area. They're starting to experiment a little bit more with the characters that are available. I've been talking about this for a while, but there's so much depth that can be added to the Reinvoke combat they just haven't actually tried to do yet. I'm interested to see where it goes from here. The flat AP amounts is a very hard to balance part of a team. And so it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that in the future and see how much it breaks the next war. Because damage multipliers are already pretty crazy. I can only imagine once you're able to get infinite combos going with AP. We don't really have the ability to do so yet, but we're getting there, and that's the exciting thing. And either way, we are getting through this even further. See, we're in the middle of the auction arc currently inside the main story as well. So like, we're finally starting to get story up to the point that we are inside the Occupation Wars. We're currently at the tail end of the auction for the actual Occupation War stuff. So we have, this next war is probably going to involve owl suppression stuff again. But we were in the middle of like Takizawa's drop in the middle of like Urie is coming up soon because apparently he's into the files already. So it is something interesting. Which also means by the end of this year, we should be able to get into Tsukiyama Extermination, which is super nice. God knows, Festival Noro will come, and I will be... Festival Noro will come, and I will too, is the joke that came to mind right there. But you know what? We'll take it. Either way, that is a little bit better and a little bit more damage to do. You go, Akira, and your motto punches. We're gonna keep on going with this. All right, and another level loads in. So this is the 4th level of the new chapter. It seems as if we're on the stage right now, which is really cool. I just like, I don't know. I feel as if I'm just tuned into the idea of any re-content being adapted right now. Like even the stage, it makes me very happy to fight on. Just something about it. And so, hey there, random Aogiri man. You know, truthfully, I don't remember seeing a single Aogiri member that looks like you inside the entirety of Re. And in fact, actually, after this next arc in the Tsukiyama Extermination, we're not going to be able to have any more Aogiri bosses, because they're not going to exist anymore. Post Tsukiyama Extermination, Aogiri falls apart super hard. I wonder who they're going to choose. Maybe clowns as the random enemies? But we already had the clown raids, that wouldn't make sense. Who knows? Either way, oh, hey, yeah, it's Washu Man. But yeah, so that is just kind of what's happening right now inside Re-Invoke. I am super excited to see how this next war is going to go for a lot of people. I don't know anyone who's pushing hard enough to get Koma or Irimi to 100%, but I'm hoping that at some point some YouTube man wails out or something and I can watch exactly what they have to offer in the end game of all of this. Either way, I'm just excited to see what the next war is going to be, and I'm so ready to grind. I'm tempted to reroll to check these guys out, but it's probably not something I want to do right now. Either way, thank you so much for watching. Are you guys going to pull? And if you do, let me know how your luck is on the banner. I've heard some pretty bad things in terms of everyone wants Kaya and has gotten several dupes of Koma consistently, so maybe it's not the time to pull. Who knows? Either way, take it easy. I'll see you guys next time, and bye for now.